Hey, dear. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so honored to have you on today. Oh my gosh, this has been a dream of mine since December. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I want to do this and what my hope is. And then I'll go into asking the questions that you provided to me. First of all, I want to tell you thank you for taking the time not only to carve out the hour to be here, but to be as intentional as you were about creating what questions you wanted me to ask you. That way, this can be your interview because I don't want this to be the Tiffany show. I truly want this to be about the energy of the globe and how when we come together, both men and women, it's not just about empowering women, but it's also about empowering men as well on their spiritual journey. I just really feel called in today's fast-paced world in which we live to slow down and to reflect and to connect with our souls, because I personally believe all of our souls are still living in heaven, and we're just an extension of that in our body, in our hearts, in our minds, and that we have the responsibility to take really good care of ourselves, obviously, because we can't give to others if we don't first give to ourselves. But the intention behind this is to be spiritually biblical, not religiously biblical. So I plan to interview people across the globe with different perspectives. My best friend from childhood is from South Korea. And so she believes in the Bible that Jesus wasn't in the Bible for several years because he was learning from Buddha. And then my best friend in my adult life doesn't know what she believes. She believes in universal truth. And so, though I'm a very strong Christian, I don't want people to be turned off by my belief in Christ. I want to turn people on to pursuing whatever is in their heart to pursue, because what I've read, again, who knows? None of us know what's going to happen. What I read is that the reason why the Magi ended up believing in Jesus is because they were actually astrologists and they were following the stars, and the stars led them to the baby in the manger. And so I feel like ultimately, I could at least, if nothing else, showcase the energy of Christ. And that's all I can say that I want out of this. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself, and then we'll go into the questions, because this is the first one. I want to make sure people know that this is very strategic, but yet it's also to give back to people like you. So I am a carpenter's daughter on earth as it is in heaven. And I was raised in Des Moines, Iowa. I went off to school at University of Northern Iowa, and then I studied abroad at El Tec de Monterrey, which is in Colima. And then I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. I'm now officially going through a divorce, and this has been horrific because I've known one man for 27 years, and that means basically my whole life, because we started dating when we were 16. He looked up my skirt in first grade, and my dad told me if any boy looked up my skirt to punch him in the nose. His last name was Ryan Hinkson, and my last name was Ryan. My last name was not Ryan Minks. My last name was Minks, and we were right next to each other in our composites in first grade. And Hinkson and Minks should not have been right next to each other. And we got pictures of him at his birthday party. We had the same smile in first grade. Like, it's just bizarre. And I'm not going to go into all the story because I don't want to waste all that time, but I know my soul is still with him and his soul is still with me. Our journey as husband and wife is done, but I don't want anything but the best for him. And it's been very difficult as he tries to want the worst for me, but I know he's not right now. And so I don't want to harbor ill will and carry that forth. We took his mother's maiden name because of abuse in his family, and neither mom nor dad was any better. He was used as a chess piece. And so I've made excuses for him, as many women do who are empaths with narcissists. It just is what it is. And so when I met you, I was in the storm of all this, and you took the time to not sell me on doTERRA essential oils, but to get to know me. And at that moment, I was under severe attack spiritually. And I don't believe in mental health needs to be addressed through the way in which the United States believes. And that's why I aligned with doTERRA essential oils as much as I do. I was diagnosed as bipolar. I don't believe that I'm bipolar because I think everyone has highs and lows. I, that's just what I believe. And I've not believed in mental illness since I was in my 20s. I wanted to end up becoming a doctor in the field of psychology to address spiritual warfare as a result of my grandmother being diagnosed with mental illness in her latter years. And so I've been on a quest to find out what happened to Nana, because in the 80s, they were doing shock treatment still. I come from blue collar roots, so they think that doctors are God. And so they didn't know any different. They don't know what to do. They're going off what people around them are telling them and what doctors are saying. And I don't think doctors know everything. I'm almost a doctor myself. I need to finish my dissertation in the field of psychology of organizational and leadership development psychology. And I don't have all the answers. I mean, how can we go to a doctor for the answers? So anyway, that's why I'm just so honored to have you on today, because doTERRA essential oils has not only helped me personally, it's helped me professionally. It's giving me an opportunity to build my team in alignment with my strengths without exhausting myself at the level that I was trying to build my own company, my own brand, do my own marketing. I mean, all that back office stuff is done for us. So all we have to do at doTERRA essential oils, as you know, is show up and give our gifts, and then let people make the choice and be blessed in our presence as a result of us giving of our souls to feed other people's souls with the oils. I was going to join before I oiled up, and I was like, no. So I just want to give a shout out real quick before I let you talk to neroli. I love the neroli. It reminds me of love, which is no longer produced through Aveda. And it's got this musky yet sensual smell, and it just allows me to decompress and allow my gifts to be what they are without feeling the need to put on a show or to be anything other than being authentic. And that's really what I am inviting you to do, is just share your story from your heart, from your mind, from your soul, whatever aligns you with your gifts. And I'm going to take it over from there. So with that, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Jennifer Davis with doTERRA essential oil. So if you don't mind just sharing a little bit about you, and then we're just going to allow this to take us where it takes us. I have no agenda other than the questions you provided. And I might ask you some follow-up questions as a result of what you said, just because I'm curious, and I think curiosity killed the cat for a reason. So I try not to be too curious, if you know what I mean. But anyway, with that, without further ado, Jennifer, the floor is yours. Share a little bit about yourself and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Tiffany. I kind of want to touch on a couple of things, and I will introduce myself fully here.
Okay.
First, thank you for sharing all that about your story. And I kind of want to talk about that. As for having prepared questions, I am somebody that can go in like a million directions and then forget where we started or where we were going. So we've got some things, like if we want to talk about these specifically with doTERRA, we can hit them. I'm prepped for them. It's good. But I love the idea of a free flow conversation and just going where we want to go. Okay. So a little bit about me for your audience. I am a 48-year-old single mom. I'm either the slowest learner on earth or the biggest optimist ever. I kind of go back and forth between the two, but I have been married twice. And so like I've been through my own struggles, right? Kind of my ups and downs. And so doTERRA, working with people in wellness, really, it can be spiritual, emotional, physical. It can be people that are really, really healthy and they just love these natural solution options, right? I meet people in all sorts of spaces. And like you shared, you were not the best state when you and I met. And I feel like it's such a privilege, right? It's a privilege that people allow me into their space, and they share their stories with me, and they share their pains and the things that they're struggling with. And I take that as a, like, it's a really important thing when people share
Right.
parts of their heart and their lives with me, that I meet them in a way and I can give them to them in a way, whether it's knowledge, support, time, that is beneficial for them. So, a little bit more about me and a little bit more about doTERRA, like what the heck this is. Maybe people don't know yet, but I live here in Iowa, Des Moines. I'm from Iowa originally, but I also have the opportunity to live in Minnesota and Alabama and Mexico and Germany. So I've been around a little bit. I've done.
Oh my gosh. So I have to ask you, what's your favorite? I know that's so hard when you've been that many places, but what's your favorite place in the world?
Oh gosh, girl. Sometimes I think my favorite place is always the next new one. Like wherever
Oh, good
I love it.
answer.
Like, right. Like there's places I haven't even been yet and they're going to be my new favorite. So like I've had the opportunity to travel a lot. I loved living in Europe. That wasn't that far ago. And I got to go, all these different countries. And Germany was home base for us. So maybe that's my most recent favorite, but wherever I'm at, I'm just like, I love being here. So
that reminds me, my grandma, my mom's mom used to say that she loved being married because she had someone to do things with. She loved being single because she could do whatever she wanted to do. And so what she would always tell me is what you just said, like, always look for the silver lining in everything. And I do that. I'm an optimist. And so through everything, I just, I'm far from perfect. I've obviously got my own issues, but who doesn't have we all have a cross to carry or a struggle to bear. It's life. It's not perfect. And that's what I love about you is you're so authentically you that you give me permission to be authentically me. And that's in itself is a gift, a universal gift, a gift from God, whatever you want to call it. I mean, soul warming, soul feeding. I don't know what you would like to call it, and as a listener of this interview, whatever it is, like those moments in time that you can capture and claim and acknowledge, it feeds us somehow beyond words, beyond food, beyond. And I think that's one of these things that you can't fully explain, but when I use the oils, I feel more of that. And I think it helps elevate our vibration. And so I didn't mean to take over from there, but I think that was such a beautiful thing to say. Wherever you're at, you've made the best of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I try.
I mean,
Mr. Optimist.
Right. And I don't think we're over the top. I mean, believe me, I've had my moments and I watch some of my live feeds that I do and I'm like, yikes, well, that was clearly not a good day.
I figure I get two choices, right? Either make the best of it or the worst of it. And I'm just one of those people that I'd rather always look at the positive side of things.
Right. That's beautiful. One last thing, since your favorite or one of your favorite places was Germany, I read a quote by European leadership through LinkedIn this morning that said, your greatest mistake is not accepting your mistakes as a human.
Oh, I've never heard that one. I like it. That's a good one.
Anyway, so continue on. So you've been all over the place. It says here that you are a cat lady. I have a cat as well. So tell me about your cats.
Okay, so I have Churro and Edgar. They're rescue cats. Technically, they're my daughter's rescue cats, but she lives with me, so I kind of have adopted them. One of them is named Churro. That was his name when we got him.
Churro. Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Saddest, lovey cat. And like you said, I'm kind of transparent, right? Like I put a lot out on social media. So people that are connected with me on social media see a lot of Churro El Curioso. And I've just hashtagged myself cat lady, single 40-something-year-old woman cat lady. And he and I we do a lot of silly photos together and stuff. So
oh my gosh.
I play on TikTok a lot.
It's so fun on TikTok, isn't it? I mean, I could lose hours doing that. I try not to even get on because I'm just like, oh no. I just have to tell you, I have Bella Guedacita. I know you already know this because obviously you're helping me build my business through doTERRA essential oils. And I'll talk about that towards the end of this. But I do want people to hear this story because it's so cute. So I truly don't believe anyone should be hungry. And so when I was at the hotel, after I lost one of my cats, after praying for a cat to come, and then I rescued the first cat, the cat passed away in a surgery. And I was really sad and wanted another cat. And I was praying, and a woman showed up and that was hungry. And I don't think anyone should be hungry. So I went upstairs to get her food, and I came back down, and she had this little kitten. And she said, thank you. And I said, well, if you can't feed yourself out, what are you going to do with your cat? And she said, do you want her? And so Bella Guedacita has her green card. I just think it's so funny. So when I brought her back to the States, everyone on the plane like just loved that story. And people, when I'm walking, she rides with me to and fro because she's used to on the go with me. And I would take her to the ocean when she was a kitten. And so like she's a global traveler now. And like my mom said, my God, that cat's traveled more than I have my whole life almost. And she's only a baby. Anyway, my point is that I love cats too and dogs. So I'm going to stop there. So,
we're both cat ladies. That's all.
Right?
We're both cat ladies. Yeah.
I know. And then I laughed because one of my best friends that was in my wedding as a personal attendant, she and I used to joke that we were going to be the crazy cat ladies. And this is before I've ever even had cats, but she loves cats so much. So we envisioned creating like this farm type thing where we would have like little huts, and all of us friends could have a little hut. And then we would have like a place where we all could get together, chat, then have our own little space. So we didn't have to annoy each other, if we were together for too long, and we were going to have cats just running everywhere. So as I've gotten older, I'm like, I really like cats. They're sneaky and they're more strategic than dogs. And yet I've raised my cat, like I've raised my dogs, and then they start kind of acting like dogs. I've found like she comes when I call her to come. Anyway, so I could talk about cats, and that's not the point of this, but okay.
It is easy to get lost.
Roll it back in.
Talk about churro. That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right. It is so true. Okay. So, back to when you were growing up, because you had mentioned that, due to you being a military wife, you kind of bounced around a little bit. So I'm going to give you the floor to kind of talk about the progression of your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, truthfully, right? Like I was a liberal arts person, and I studied Spanish, and I got my teaching degree, and I wanted to do something that helped people in the world, but I didn't know what it was. So, I had some early career things, probably 2 or 3 different industries. And then with my military lifestyle, I was moving every 2 years. And every 2 years I was reinventing myself, and I was going into new industries, and I had some sales background and some education. And I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I used to joke that I wanted to be retired, right? Like, retired, that would be awesome. Well, when I was living in Alabama, I came across the company of doTERRA. And if people aren't familiar with it, it's essential oils and natural solutions for healthy living. And so I already knew, like I had discovered once, that if I could get my hands on a really high quality, potent lavender essential oil, that it could get rid of migraines for me.
Amen.
But I could never find that oil, right? Like I knew most lavender products, they weren't any good and they didn't work. But I had had that really impactful, powerful experience that if I had a good quality essential oil, it took them away. And it was like magic to me and so I was always kind of on like this secret hunt for essential oils. If I'd see them somewhere, I'd be like, oh, maybe this is the one. Well, I'm living in Alabama, and I go to this health and wellness fair.
Where at in Alabama?
Fort Rucker, Mother Rucker. It's where some of our aviation.
My brother-in-law was from Mobile, so I just
it's down there. It's down there. So I go to this health and wellness fair, and there's a booth, and it's a doTERRA thing. This really nice young gal, she says, hey, are you interested in essential oils? And she doesn't know that I've secretly for like 15 years been searching for the magic lavender oil. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, and I give her my info, and she's like, we do these classes, and if you want to come. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So she calls me, follows up appropriately, and invites me to a class, and I go and I listen, and I find out in this class why most essential oils and most lavender products didn't work for me because they're not actually good products.
Yeah.
And that when we get a really good product and it has the right chemicals and chemistry intact in it, that it can do these things therapeutically with our body. So I had already had that experience. I was a believer, right? I was just like, oh my God, I found the right one.
And the
And so,
lotions through doTERRA essential oils,
what's
like,
that?
the lotions, like the purity of the lotions, like all those toxins that are in our lotions get into our skin. That's just disgusting when you think about it. Like, and the lotions through doTERRA do not have those parabens and all that other stuff that makes us not think as clear. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. There's more to this than just taking a pill. I mean, I don't take any prescription drugs for what I've been diagnosed with. I don't need them. I know what works for me to keep myself, you know what I'm saying? And it starts with getting rid of the preservatives in your food and the parabens and all that junk that's in our shampoo, our conditioners, our lotions, our makeup, and that's why I'm so enamored by this company. It just, I'm aligned. I'm aligned. So anyway, continue on.
Yeah, you bet. No, it's easy. It's so easy to fall in love with the lifestyle once you
Right.
get into it, right?
Right.
It is. It's easy. So, here I am at this class. I believe already in the oils. I just hadn't found the right brand. So, I find out that not only can lavender help, like with head tension and pain like that, but it can help us fall asleep. It can help lessen feelings of anxiety. It can do all these really great things, calm a burn. I was like, oh, I didn't even know it could do all those things. And then I started finding out about all the other essential oils. I was like, there's other ones, there's more, they can do more. Right? It's like, right,
There's
like
other ones.
I get a kit, I start like hunting down my family and like, try this
Why
one.
do
Oh,
you think I dumped $1,500? I'm like, I get all those oils for $1,500 and lotions and shampoos and conditioners. Like, where have you been all my life, doTERRA essential oils? Right
well,
there.
girl, you came in big. You
But
came in big.
Jennifer,
I like
I
a few
know I came in
bucks,
big, but I know not everyone has to do it like that. But like,
Yeah.
I was already on the path. And,
Yeah.
and so I've already been dabbling with, I mean, some other, I don't want to call out our competition, but like I've gone down the path of all of these other competition. I don't think we have any competition. I'd like to find the company out there that has a higher quality product in our industry than doTERRA, because I truly, and I'm not trying to sell doTERRA essential oils. I've done my research. I'm an analytical motivator along with a director and a relator. Like, I teach my clients to get in that sweet spot. And there's, in my opinion, my humble opinion, there's not a better company for any massage therapists, yoga teachers, nail salon owners. I mean, anyone in that line of work that's, Reiki masters, healing touch practitioners. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, there's just a better product, and they're already in front of the right people to sell the product to. And so it's just an add-on for them to make more money. And not that it's about money. It's a way in which to bless other people so it's this whole thing. And this is like, boom, this is why I'm doing this. It's the circle of life.
Right. Right.
And we're not selling anything. It's a service to be able to present what it is we offer. And we have to do that. And we have to receive. We have to get comfortable with receiving. We have to get comfortable with giving. That's the way life goes. So anyway, continue on. I'm sorry I jumped on top of that, but I just resist.
I feel like there's so many directions we could go with all of this, because, as you talked about giving and receiving, doTERRA does mean gift of the earth.
What's it mean?
It really is about the plants are a gift from the earth to us. Plant medicine is something that we can use for ourselves, and it's something that we can give to others. As wellness advocates, we're really out here to serve people and to share the knowledge that we have. I mean, it almost feels kind of like generational knowledge, right? Like, we know that peppermint, like I had somebody at a class say to me once, it was a husband, he says, when I was little, my grandma would give me peppermint leaves to chew on if I had a tummy ache, right? So this is like this plant therapy. It's kind of like we've
It's
gotten
family
so far
legacies
away
being
from it.
passed down from generation to
Yeah.
generation. We're back to the beginning of time.
Yeah, we've gotten so far away from it, that we don't get taught it. And then there's so many bad products out there that don't really work, or they're not necessarily safe, or people or companies that are selling things without the right type of ethics, that we all have gotten a little like, well, can we trust it, and is it good, and is it safe, and we don't know what or who to believe. And so when I came across doTERRA as this company with such high integrity, such high quality, right, just as a personal user of the oils, it's like, I need to have these. And I was a little still skeptical even at first. Like, I was like, do they really work? Do they really work?
Right.
And so once I had my first kit, and I only spent like $100 when I got started, and I got 10 little bottles.
And I love that. Like, it just, I mean, that's what's so beautiful about this company. You don't have to go all in. You don't have to sell it. You can just be a user of the product. I mean, there's just like so many ways in which you can get involved.
Yes, that's exactly it. I signed on to be a customer, and because I had a little bit of experience in sales, and I was moving every 2 years, and I knew that in a couple months I was going to be moving overseas. I was like, man, I don't know what kind of job opportunities I'm going to have there. I only had to work part-time because of, being a spouse of a high-ranking military officer.
Right.
But I wanted something, and I looked at the business opportunity, which is something that people can do a few hours a week. It's something they can do casually when they want to. It's something that people can use to supplement their income, or it's something that people can take on like a real deal big business to replace or multiply.
I'm signing up for that one.
Right. You can do anything you want with it. So I was like, well, it sure would be cool if I could have some sort of work that I do that I like, and that I could take it anywhere in the world, wherever I live, I could do it, that I could do it as much or as little as I choose, that
right.
I could, if I really like it, that I could make it into something that pays me really well.
And especially with your ability to speak Spanish and English, like, I mean, my Spanish is broken, but I can get by. And all the verbiage and all of the brochures is already done in Spanish and in English. I mean, it's just like, for me, it's like, oh my gosh, I can embrace both worlds in one company,
Yeah. So anyway, it was like, I got signed up, I was a customer, and we kind of describe it to people who are new, coming on with their first kit or what, experience with oils. We have 3 types of people typically that interact with the product. We have people that live it. These are wellness enthusiasts, right? People who just love the products. They love the lifestyle. They want to have this non-toxic plant therapy type options in their home. And then we have people that share, right? They just automatically start learning this stuff, and they're like, oh, my mom has, shoulder pain, and my neighbor has all these anxious feelings, and they just want to take the oils and tell other people about them. And so these are folks that maybe would host classes or just casually share, and do that in a way that they start getting some free products, or they start maybe getting their own products paid for month after month. And then the third type of person is somebody who might watch somebody teaching and building their business and go, I want to do that. Right? Like, I want to make this my career.
I remember being in the banking industry as a branch manager at Bank of America and watching a trainer, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to train, I want to teach in the corporate environment, and that seed planted. And I promised myself I wouldn't go back and get my master's degree until I knew what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that was what I decided. And then from there, I pursued organizational development psychology because I actually wanted to be a counselor. And I've never told hardly anybody this, but I got halfway through my program and I realized I could never get licensed as a counselor because of going into the field of psychology versus doing the social work thing. Yeah. So I was like, well, this is stupid. I mean, and so then I had to decide, do I want to bow out of my education halfway through my master's, or do I want to keep going? And then I just said, I'm going to be a professor with this, because with the master's, I can do work as a professor. And then from there, I got really interested in the neuroscience research of the law of attraction due to some of the struggles I was dealing with personally. I was like, I need to figure out how to work with my brain. I need to figure out how to manage my high levels of energy. And then when I'm sad, so I mean, I've known I've been bipolar before I was diagnosed. That's why when they forced me to be diagnosed, I was like, I've known this since I was 20.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been I'm educated. I read that description. I'm like, that'd be me. I mean, like, I didn't need to be diagnosed and be told by a doctor. It's very clear. The beautiful thing, though, this is kind of funny, and I'm not going to go into details as to why, but I have been deemed sane by the state of Iowa.
Congratulations. I don't know if they would give me that rating or not. I'm not going to ask them. Let's just leave that off the table.
And so people in my social circle that still love me and people I work with, they're like, well, I don't got that documentation. I'm running amok out here trying to figure out how this go. I'm like, it's not easy getting deemed sane, folks. I'm going to tell you right now.
It's a good thing, but you know what? It's a good thing.
Especially with a court-appointed attorney.
It's a good thing my ex-husbands didn't, know that maybe they could say I was, because they'd probably, if I remember correctly, I might have been told once or twice, are you bipolar? Maybe, I don't know.
Being a woman, men.
Right?
We have fluctuations.
Making me crazy, like, crazy to begin with. I don't know.
But we're emotional creatures. Our brain doesn't like this, it's not very linear, and that's what I love about working with women too, because I mean, like, for example, I've had people say to me, well, this industry was clearly created by a man that is a woman presenting on the material. And I don't want to go into different industries, and that's why I'm not going to even bring it up. But I mean, there's a book written by, I can't remember his name. I don't remember, but anyway, I read it when I was a 16-year-old girl who reads this book. I read Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus when I was 16. I mean, I was already like, well, I'm not clearly understanding this. And then I had to read the spiritual steps to uncovering your father's purpose for your sexual desires. And I was like, well, my dad never like this. But I was interested in it because I was like, why am I like, I wanted to get to know myself. And so, I mean, I just, that's one thing my mom always taught me, is to be my own best friend. And I haven't always been my own best friend because, it's challenging being your own best friend. I'm not proud of everything I've done throughout my entire life. Who is? But I think if you're your own best friend, you know why you did what you did. And then, like my Aunt Mary has taught me, you have to give yourself grace. Tiffany, you give people grace all day long. Why are you not giving yourself grace? There's some value in just saying, this is who I am. And I'm accepting all of me, not just a piece of me. And I'm giving myself grace. And that's what I want other people to receive, is grace in my presence. So if I don't heal energetically, which goes back to the oils, how can I possibly give grace to the globe when I'm speaking in other languages or translating my work? Because it doesn't matter if I'm in your face like this, and then saying peaceful things. It doesn't matter if the subtitles down below say that this is peaceful. That's not going to send the message that aligns with my soul. So I'm just really grateful for the oils, because they really, I'm not just saying that, like, I use them every day.
Yeah, I do too. And I love what you said there about, I need to do this for myself so I can do better for other people, right? And that's been a huge piece of doTERRA for me, which is, I call it my own personal healing, right? My own healing journey, regardless of the business piece of it. I've had loss and transition, and I've had grief, and I've had these broken relationships, and there's the aftermath of that. But it's like, well, what were some of those key core things that happened to me before I was in those relationships that maybe set me up for not the healthiest relationships to begin with, right? And so doTERRA has been a spiritual, emotional, physical journey for me that this company and this community has given me tools and support and encouragement and hope, right? Yeah. It's given me hope. It's also given me financial
stability and well-being.
I've been able to make it part of my career.
Amen.
That is my main source of income.
Amen.
But
and how amazing is that? You're selling
right?
doTERRA essential oils for your main source of revenue for your family. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people, when they hear, this is the thing I think that people hear, they hear, oh, you're selling essential oils, like
Right.
this company. And I think that's a great segue into a little bit more about the stability of the company. And then we can talk about next steps. Because this interview is going so well, I really think I would like to schedule a meeting next Wednesday and have you do an overall class like you did on Monday night, just to teach our viewers how they can use the product, because that, again, this is a gift from my soul to other people. It's not about selling anything, but if they don't buy, they don't get the benefits of smelling this. And this is just one of the oils. And then the things that you've taught me on, what was it called? The goddess.
The goddess oils. Yeah.
So I'm waiting for my package. And I got the little message on my text message that it's coming. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a goddess.
Yeah. My goddess
So
oils, those are all about femininity and empowerment from our feminine energy. And
right.
Smell good. We're getting hormonal support. We're getting immune support. We're getting, all
right. And that, okay, before you talk about the company, because I have taught developmental psychology, in our 40s as women, we don't have as much estrogen surging into our body, and men don't have as much testosterone. So what's interesting, in our 40s, couples do the flop. Mm-hmm. So this is where couples get destroyed, because like they're used to having the tables, this is how it was. And then all of a sudden it was like, and men don't, sometimes, not all, but I mean, that's a struggle in relationships. And what we do in our 40s with our relationships, that impacts the direction of where we go. So I bring that up because I know that oils at least help. I personally think I need to see an actual medical doctor who focuses on hormonal health, because I feel a lot more angry than I ever did in my younger years. And I think that has to do with the testosterone. And I know my Nana, when she was struggling with mental illness, I mean, when the veil lifts, it's just like, well, what do you mean this has been, and then they don't know what to do with us, because then we're angry, and then we were always so fun, and then they're mad, and then we're sad because they're mad, and it just causes all kinds of havoc for family units. And I think we need, as women, strong women that have gone through life like everyone does and got to the other side of acknowledging our struggle and being willing to be transparent about it. If we talk about it, we can help other women realize the red flags of what's going on so they can better communicate. Because to be honest with you, as I was going through all of this, there was so much past. I couldn't even verbalize this, because he wouldn't have cared anyway. Because I tried everything. So with that, again, this is a gift, not a sales pitch. And I just think that this is important to educate women on, so they're aware and they're embraced with the tools and the resources and the contacts to be able to reach out proactively to save their family units, if at all possible. If it's too far, it's too far. Cut the cord and run, but don't hold that person hostage and torturing them for the rest, and I struggle with that, because I'm just like, what do you mean? I did all of this for you, running around like a slave, and now you went, what, baby? No, we're going to have to never see each other again. I'm sorry. And I don't care about the money. You're not getting my money on the back end. So with all of that, again, this is not my show. This is our show. So I'm going to stop there.
It's your show. You can do whatever you want.
It's not my show. I do not want this to be my show. I mean, I have to put hard boundaries around that, because I want everyone to come empowered, fully charged to say whatever they need to say. And I will take it. and embrace it and learn from it. And I think that if women could start working like that together, like my best friend and I do, you know, I think that we could really do some really cool things in this flow. But women, what research shows, Jennifer, is they are mad at each other because someone went like this. And instead of addressing like this, they run.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've tried to run for my best friend. She is not leaving me. I mean, because I mean, sometimes when it gets hot in the kitchen, you just want to, you know, no, I'm going to go back into hermit mode. That's not healthy. It's not healthy.
You know, it's interesting, you know, kind of bring it back into the doTERRA experience. You know, I mentioned before, community was such a huge thing for me, right? And people think with the network marketing and different stuff that it's really cutthroat and just really competitive. And doTERRA really draws in the type of people. It's mostly women. We definitely have men that pursue the business side, and we definitely have men that use the products, but primarily it's women. That's a bigger demographic for the essential oils, right? The women that are drawn to this, especially the business side, are givers. They are givers. They are people that want to extend this love and this gift and this healing to other people. And so when I surrounded myself, I'm going to cry, right? When I started surrounding myself with this community of women who wanted to support each other with health, that wanted to support each other in their businesses, that wanted to help each other, you know, physically, emotionally heal, and then also develop professionally into stronger leaders, better empowered women, better mothers, better spouses, right? That was something that really gave me so much,
right,
in my journey. And that's definitely, you know, again, like when you said that you and I met, and you said, wow, I can't believe that she met me in this way, or that you were feeling so crazy. And then I just kind of sat in that space with you, and I was like, you know, you're supported.
And then you brought me a bag. I mean, you brought me a really cool duffel bag from doTERRA essential oils and a book that I still read and use to cook with. And I mean, that's all stuff that you gave me. You didn't need to do any of that stuff. You didn't know me from Joe Blow down the street. I mean, I bought the product from one of my friends I've known since I was 5 years old. And you were her upline, and you're like, wow, she bought all this. I'm going to meet with her. And then this is another thing I want people to know, because I really believe this. When good things are happening, the universe shuts stuff down. So like you can't get beyond the barrier of all the evil in the world. I don't care what anyone says, unless you are perseverant. So from there, remember, I fell asleep or something and screwed up the time period. And I just loved you so much because you were like, well, my time's valuable and I don't know where you're at, but, and I'm like, well, I sent you the address and you didn't show up. And then you were like, well, I couldn't find it. And I was like, well, then I was like, oh God, I must've sent her the wrong address or something. I don't know what happened. But my point is like, this whole thing could have never happened had either one of us, because it could have been on your end or my end. It wasn't just me and it wasn't just you. We both said, well, should happen. Sorry to cuss, but the bottom, I mean, it happened. And if you just cut people out left and right, like some men and women do, unfortunately, you don't get to know the intention behind what you perceived. Now, what that isn't a home run. I mean, that's the reality. It's just that's true. So I'm going to stop there because this is what I do for a living with coaching, consulting, and training when I'm working one-on-one with my clients. And now I've got reps, not reps, but a rep working underneath of me. And we had the most beautiful conversation yesterday because I focus on alignment first, then we work on brand, and then we work on consistency. And she's in the alignment phase. So we're not ready to brand yet, because you can't brand authentically if you don't even know what your brand is. And your brand chooses you as much as you choose your brand. And once you know your brand, then you can create this strategy behind the consistency piece. And like I told her, I said, I can tell you exactly what to do, but if you're not authentically aligned with your soul's purpose before I get you acting, you're going to spin out like I've spun out, and it's not going to work. So you have to slow down to speed up. That's per my great uncle Bill. And he always taught my dad, and this is why my dad's never been laid off. Paul, if you want to raise a family full of women, which that's what you've been blessed with, and you don't want to get laid off in the construction industry, you better get goddamn good at what it is that you do. And then and only then add speed. And if everyone in the globe, I mean, truly, everyone perfected whatever their craft is at that level before they branded, once you get to the creating consistency, you're home run after home run after home run after home run. And then people are like, who is this person? And I call it the sleeping giant, you know, and I want my clients to be the sleeping giant out of left field. You're going to knock it out of the park, but you got to walk with me through the valley of despair to get to that pinnacle moment where you're like, there I am. I did all of that to get here. I'm in the promised land. So real quick, I just want to share with you, Moses was a great psychologist in the Bible, and they didn't believe Moses, and therefore they never got to the promised land. And so this is what I struggle with people. I want to take people to the promised land. I'm like, let's go. Vámonos. Arriba, señorita. Vámonos. Let's go. Yeah. And everyone's like, who is this girl? They don't even know who I am, but I already know what I know. And so then I have to slow down with them because I've already slowed down to speed up for me. And so I'm like, I'm so like frustrated. I want to make you millions of dollars. I mean, I've done this for companies. It's not just my brand saying that. I've seen their financials. And so anyway, my point is this is why I'm so honored to work with you, because you think like I think. And when you have two people operating on this same vibrancy level of frequency, and you're collaborating together, and neither one of them has an ego that's going to collide with the other ego. It's your spirit working with your spirit. You're like, yeah, girl, yeah, girl, yeah, girl. Boom. That's fun. When money falls from heaven to earth.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. Right. So tell me a little bit about doTERRA essential oils, like the foundation of it. And then I want to honor our viewers' time because it's about 12:45. So we have about 15 minutes left. And I know that we're not going to probably get through all your questions, but I definitely want to schedule another meeting with you next Wednesday at noon. And I think we'll just leave this as a series until we feel like we've exhausted this. And, you know,
I'll talk about all the things we want to. Yeah, right. You bet. I'm happy to do that with you, Tiffany.
Right. And then maybe get Maggie involved since she's a part of our upline. She's just a beautiful soul. And then she's, you know, going to potentially get involved with Pesos and Pennies at the nonprofit. And I'm not going to go into all that, but, you know, she's in South America. You have an ability to speak Spanish. My best friend speaks a little bit of Spanish. Like there's something to South America that could bless the United States. We need to calm down, you know, and just kind of relax and enjoy the moment.
Maybe.
Yeah, a little siesta from time to time. I've never heard anyone. So with that,
United States, take a nap.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they get up at 4 o'clock and they eat their main dinner, and then they work till 8, and then they go to bed. Like there's something about their schedule that feeds me. It's so interesting. I always thought I was a type A personality until I got to Mexico when I studied abroad. And I'm like, no, I'm a type B personality down here. And then my dad's, you know, screaming and yelling at me when I'm in Mexico. And I'm just like, I'm still in siesta mode. Like, what?
Cálmense, papá.
Por favor, papá, no más te cosas como así.
Estoy descansando ahora.
Ya sé que tengo cuentas que necesito pagar. Tengo un plan, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Tell me about doTERRA essential oils.
So doTERRA is the largest essential oil company in the world. They were started in 2008 with the most incredible leadership team I have ever seen. Again, so much heart and integrity, right? And they basically have disrupted the essential oil industry, and they've created the highest quality, highest tested, purest essential oil on the market. And they grew super, super, super fast because of this, right? Now they're tested, they're in places like Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic, and right, they're partnering with the medical field as much as possible. They're leading research, and they're bringing this really great essential oil into our homes every day so we can start learning about plant therapy. Now, people immediately are like, MLM, pyramid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so doTERRA is really very different from what people think about with multi-level marketing. We are what is called a product-based company, right? We know most people that use doTERRA essential oils don't want to go into the business. We are a product-focused company with a business opportunity, right? doTERRA knew they wanted to do
Can I
these.
have a timeout for just a second?
Yeah.
This is a tea timeout by Tiffany.
Sure.
So I had an epiphany by Tiffany. Sorry, I have friends that
You could
say that.
brand that. Epiphanies by Tiffany.
Right. So it'd be like if Estee Lauder came to you and said, do you want to sell our product? And we're going to give you a cut off the product. And then if you create a team to sell the product underneath the leader, which would be you, you're going to make money off. Like who wouldn't? This is it's a no brainer. I don't want to, again, I don't want to say anything negative. So I'm not going to say what I was thinking. But my point is that like, this is a great opportunity for people that love the product. But, you know, one of the things I loved about one of our meetings, and you haven't mentioned this, but it's probably because I've been talking too much, if I'm honest, is that, you know, this doesn't work if you don't love the product. So we don't want, I mean, we want people to try the product. And if you love the product, consider selling it. But if you just want to, like, it's about where you're at. We want to meet people where they're at, not. And this is one of the things in the field of psychology we talk about. And this is one of the things I think doctors could learn as far as bedside manner. It's called the zone of proximity. Right. If you're over here and you're really super smart, like let's say Einstein, I mean, I'm definitely not going to compare myself against that. But let's say you're at Einstein level. It's very challenging for Einstein to communicate to Tiffany Minks, because that's who I am now. I'm not claiming my last name anymore, but I mean, I'm never going to understand what Einstein understood. But if Einstein takes the time to think through what are some basic common sense practices, and this is what my dad's really good about. He used to tell me, you need to talk to your husband with sports terminology in order for him to understand what you're communicating, because you speak so arbitrary, he doesn't understand. So, I mean, clearly nothing was understood. But anyway, I didn't mean for that to sound snarky. I'm really trying to work on that. So again, I'm not perfect. So my point is that if you're saying this and they have got no reference point for this, you're unable to understand that over here. So if Steve Jobs came to me and said, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million a year, when I was in my 20s, like I told the kids I was volunteering to help that were in an underprivileged area that were all African American, what they could create in their life. And then I was told I need to learn how to speak Ebonics to help them. And the bottom line is they didn't understand me. So here I am. I actually caused more damage than good and then they taught me more than I taught them, because I remember leaving that program thinking, oh my God, I thought I was on top of the world the week before. And then she told me she was shot at 3 times that last week. And she didn't care about my effing during bird, my effing this, my effing that, my effing this. And I thought, I do care, but I can't even relate. And is that my fault? My ex-husband to me said, no, that's not your fault. She needs to learn how to communicate like you're communicating. And this is why I struggle so much with my divorce, because he was so good for me in so many ways. And yet in the back end, it was disastrous. So anyway, my point is that this is a great opportunity for people that love the business. And if you love the business, we can get you to the other side gradually, step by step. You don't need to be over here to love the product. But if you fall in love with the product, we know what we need to do exactly to get you over here to sell it and be able to make this your career. And so I'm going to stop there. So back to what you were saying.
You bet. Like I said, people can really choose. The business was set up, or the company decided to go with network marketing because it was the right distribution model, right?
Absolutely.
Like, this is kind of like this grassroots, person to person, extending, because it's such a personalized experience, right? You said it before, like you've got some hormonal things, some mental health things, some women's health issues specific to you, right? We all have this specific stuff. And so by going person to person, person to person, with the knowledge, with the resources, with the care and the concern, is a completely different experience than going to somewhere where you're not getting, one, a quality product, and two, you're not getting any support. Right. So it's a product-based company. We're out there to deliver and help and support getting these great oils and teaching a natural lifestyle, non-toxic, natural lifestyle, healthy habits to people, one person. And I think this is kind of how we say it: one drop, one person, one community at a time, right?
Wow, like one drop. I'm taking notes on that. One drop, one person, one community at a time. Right. That's so beautiful.
So it really is this personalized experience, and that's why it is in a network marketing opportunity, which is really cool, you know, for a woman or a man who wants a really low risk opportunity to create some additional income, to have an opportunity to do some professional development, to make an impact with other people, right? You can do for almost nothing, right? You can,
and as an entrepreneur that started my own business from the ground up, believe me, you don't want to do that. I've spent 20 years to get where I'm at today within that company, where I now have a license to be able to sell it, and I don't have to work anymore. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean I don't work anymore, because I still work. I'm just not ready to retire. And why would I not make more money and you do what I love? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, I could just sit on my rental properties and let them cash flow and live a mediocre life, but I've got gifts to give. And I don't want to give fish anymore. That doesn't work. You've got to teach people how to fish. And that's what doTERRA essential oils does for everyone. I mean, I have a unique system I use with my clients, but I don't even need to have that. But I'm offering that to anyone that joins my team. So not only will they get all of doTERRA essential oils, not only will they get healthcare benefits from my company, because I haven't even told you this yet, but as a team member underneath my company, you're going to be able to, if you want health insurance, I've already negotiated that, and you're going to be able to have retirement account options. Like, I've got all of that done. So like, people can do what they're here to do. Because when I started my business, I didn't want to leave corporate America because I didn't have any benefits. And I am a union daughter from a construction worker who was like, you want to quit your 6-figure job to write a book and start a company? I gave my whole goddamn life to you to get you where you're at 26. What do you mean? I mean, you know, it's like, and I get it. And, you know, I get it. And yes, he is hard on me, but you know what? He's made me a champion, you know, and I don't fault him for caring so much that he forces me to dig deeper and get better. And he's never let me get to the pinnacle of my career. I respect him for that, because he knows intuitively, if he moves the carrot here, guess what his daughter's going to do?
Yeah.
You know, he knows, he raised me. He knows what he taught me when he took me into the union hall and said, I bring this job in at 500 when they bid it at $1 million, and that 500 goes back to my boss. And I'm happy with the 125 bonus check I get at the end of the year. You know, that guy's pocketing now, you know, his boss is in Florida, and my dad's happy for him. My family doesn't want anything more than we have. We just want to bless everyone around us, because I promise you this: if you're making it rain for everyone else around you and you're only taking a small cut, who doesn't want in on that? I mean, and that's where I struggle, because I'm just like, well, and then I didn't realize we were abnormal. I thought this was what everyone did.
Right.
So anyway, it's almost 1 o'clock.
You've got just a real interesting, unique.
I have a unique upbringing, and I went from blue collar to white collar because I in 8th grade I was told, you know, I should make more money than my husband, because I told my dad I'm going to make more money than my husband. He goes, look, that's going to be a problem. I'm like, no, it's not. And so it wasn't a problem until I make less money, because then my husband knew that I was, and then what are you doing? Like, you know, so it is what it is. I mean, I could cry over spilled milk, or I can embrace the gifts of my past and move forward in alignment with my dreams, or I could be sad and victimize my story, but I don't want to do that. Because everyone has a story that could be victimized. It doesn't matter You can go up and down the street from top to bottom, rich, famous, sad, poor, broke. It doesn't matter who you are. We all have a story. We're not unique, you know, as far as our struggles are concerned. Obviously, we all are unique and we have, you know, a specific purpose for being here. But at the end of the day, we're just human and a speck of sand in the grand scheme of this planet Earth that we're responsible to take care of. And I think that's a great place to wrap it up. I just really am honored to have you here and to present doTERRA essential oils and to be so authentic. And this is truly my heart communicating to your heart that I'm honored to be a part of your team. I'm honored for your contribution, your impact in my life in just such a short time period. And that's really what the intention of these presentations or interviews or whatever you want to call them. It just goes to show you, like, if you are truly open-minded to gifts from the universe, God, Buddha, Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. I mean, I don't care who it is that you're idol. That doesn't matter to me. If you're open to being inspired, and that's really what Modern Muse Consulting was founded on. I mean, it's the inspiration of those in Greek mythology that were called muses. And it's in both the arts and the science. I understand the art of law of attraction, but I went that far in. I wanted to understand the science. And that's because that's my path, my desire. And now I want to reach back and bring people with me. And that's what I feel like you do too. And so can you share your contact information so people are interested? And then I will share my contact information. And then I do want to plant the seed, everyone, as she's looking up what she needs to look up, that we definitely are going to take this conversation further next week. I am going to reach out to Maggie. She is a massage therapist out of Des Moines, Iowa, who is also representing our team underneath doTERRA Essential Oils. She has a school in South America that she is building. And right now she's working, selling fireworks while she's massaging people in between everything else she juggles so she can get back to South America and serve people. So when we say we truly want to give, it's like, please just let us give. Let us give. And that doesn't mean that you have to let us give, but if you're interested, let us help. Let us share our stories. Let us talk. It doesn't matter what it is, where you're at in your life's journey. Like, I want to know you, I want to hear your story because stories matter. So with that, what is your contact information, if you don't mind?
If anybody wants to find me on social media, just look for Jennifer Davis. I think I've got, I think Churro Fat Cat is my cover photo right now. There's a lot of Jennifer Davises out there. I'm Your Oils Girl on Instagram. Okay. So you can follow me there. Or if somebody just wants to text me, my business number, 515-259-0969. And you can open up communications that way. I appreciate you inviting me on to talk about doTERRA and share that message a little bit. So thank you, Tiffany.
My God, you're so wonderful. Okay. So I am going to actually share my parent company because I don't think anyone really fully understands why I seem like I'm bipolar because I'm really not. I just have way too much desire to bless the world. If I can find it. I did not come prepared to talk about this because, again, I really wanted this not to be about me, but I am doing this for a strategic reason, so I don't want to miss the opportunity. So my parent company was founded in 2001, and we were a life coaching company based on health and wellness, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. So we are currently representing a lot of different companies, but to be honest with you, I've been so much more aligned with doTERRA than some of the other companies that I've worked with. I've been focusing more energy on doTERRA, and just for the simple fact that I only have so much time and you've invested in me. So what I'm doing right now is I'm paying attention, who's paying attention to me, and then I will pay attention to that company. And I have to do it that way because I can't make money. And not that it's all about money, but I've got bills to pay like everyone else. Yeah. And so I'm going to invest my time where I'm being invested in. And I don't think a lot of people think about how important it is to be invested in. But I mean, I've always been lucky to have good managers. And I look at you like a manager. And I like to call you a boss babe when I'm talking about you with my women friends.
I'll take that. I'll be boss babe.
And then I also am licensed in the life insurance industry. So I'm able to work with companies to help create retirement accounts for them, and then offer financial coaching and also recruit financial advisors through Primerica. So obviously that's a very lucrative industry. And I'm not going to go into all of that because, again, I want this to be about doTERRA. But my point in all of that is, on top of all of that, I'm also selling licenses for my consulting, coaching, and training. I have a medical marijuana grow facility that I just did the business evaluation for. And I'm like, oh my God, the last 9 months of my life hasn't been a waste of time. I could sell this for a lot of, I'm doing just fine. So all of that in a travel company in Mazatlan, Mexico. I've got, it's called Comida para Ti. So we're cooking with doTERRA essential oils when I get back to Mexico, because I left all my essential oils there. I've got a car down there, and the woman that cooks on an outside grill in a hut without running water is going to be using doTERRA essential oils. And it's called Comida para Ti, which is like an Uber Eats in Mazatlan, where we're able to prepackage food and freeze it, and then help the Mexican culture kind of speed up a little bit. So they're not, you know, they're able to kind of better understand the way we make money in the States, because it's not about money or not money. It's about passion, you know, and we've been trained because we have a structure which demands us to run after that. And so that's why we are only 33rd in the globe as far as health is concerned, because we overextend ourselves. So it's that what I'm working on is embracing both cultures and finding myself somewhere in the middle. And that's what I love about doTERRA essential oils, is I think that that's what you guys teach. On top of that, my best friend and I have what's called Diaries of Divorcees. And I'm not going to lie, we are a good time. She's in the background. She's a nurse practitioner, and she didn't feel real well today. So she's taking the day off, and I want to get her involved with doTERRA essential oils because she just fits. She's so much fun, and she's so wicked smart. I mean, way smarter than me. She can diagnose. I can't diagnose. She is a nurse practitioner. And so anyway, she's the one that paid for pesos and pennies to go through the process to legally get established. And then Bank of America, where I started my career, is going to give me $500 to open up my account through them, because LegalZoom and Bank of America have partnerships. So, I mean, corporations are partnering up. Why can't individuals partner up? So anyway, if any of these things are of interest to you, you can message me at 913-634-7425. Again, that's 913-634-7425. Also, if you would like to have a future slot to be interviewed, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. I'm being very selective at the beginning of this, because I want to make sure my energy's right before I just go guns a-blazing trying to help everyone. I want to have genuine divine connections with people. And I don't want this to become a marketing promotional type thing. I want this to be soulful. So with that, if you would be willing, I would like for you to come back next Wednesday at noon. Would you be willing?
You know what, we'll check it offline. I say yes. And I'll just make sure that I don't have.
If it doesn't work,
if not, we can
schedule a different time, and then we'll upload it at 1:00 next Wednesday. So hopefully we can. And if not, I will find someone else. But just know that Jennifer will be back. I definitely want to have you come back and teach us about the oils. Don't just talk about the company and about you. I want people to know how wonderful these oils are and all the things that you can do with them and how fun they can be. And I'm just excited to get started with hosting parties. I'm really excited about that, because in the future, Jennifer and I are going to be hosting retreats in Mazatlan, Mexico, and in Kansas City, and who knows where else we're going to go, because we both like to travel. And then also, of course, just little mini parties where we can have drinks and food and teach like little ways in which you can use the oils while we're just enjoying each other's company and truly getting to know other women and hearing their stories and knowing, you know, we're in this together and we understand that life isn't perfect and we don't need to put on that perfect face every day. We can be authentic and be okay with just who we are. So thank you again, Jennifer. I'm so honored, and I'm bowing to you because my best friend's from South Korea, and that's what she would do. She would bow to you and say, God bless, and in whatever way fills your soul. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so happy. This has been even more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. All right, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.